after the Last Supper, and they've gone up into the grove of olives, and they're there. And we'll pick it up from verse 1, but it says, after saying these things, Jesus crossed the Kidron Valley with his disciples and entered a grove of olive trees. Judas the betrayer knew this place because Jesus had often gone there with his disciples. The leading priests and Pharisees had given Judas a contingent of Roman soldiers and temple guards to accompany him. Now with blazing torches, lanterns and weapons, they arrived at the olive grove. So here we have this picture. Jesus and the disciples are up in the olive grove in Gethsemane. And Judas has betrayed Jesus, and they send him up with a contingent of Roman soldiers and temple guards. So there's more than one or two of them. There's you could argue he had dozens, of men. And now they had lanterns, blazing torches, and they were an angry mob. They finally had this opportunity. They were going to go and seize Jesus of Nazareth. So they're not coming up for a friendly chat. This is what it says in verse 4. Jesus fully realised all that was going to happen to him, so he stepped forward to meet them. And he says this, "Who are you looking for?" he asked. "Jesus the Nazarene," they replied. "I am he," Jesus said. And Judas, who betrayed him, was standing with them. As Jesus said, "I am he," they all drew back and fell to the ground. Now, I've read this passage multitudes of times, and I'm sure many of us have, but we miss what's happening here. Jesus draws forward and he says, "I am he." Remember, when we look back through Scripture, you can do this as an extra bit of study, but God reveals himself in his fullness. He says, who are you? He goes, "I am." And here we have Jesus. He says he's at the full realization of what's happening now before he goes to the cross. And he leans forward and he says, "I am he." And what happens? All the people with their flaming torches, their swords, they're coming to arrest him. Their adrenaline is pumped and running to arrest him. They drew back and fell to the ground. That is power and authority that Jesus